Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're headed all the way to China
Yeah.
to investigate this AI company
Huh?
called DeepSeek.
Okay.
Now, they're starting to make some real waves in the tech world,
Right.
but what's got everyone buzzing is they're doing things so differently
I know.
from the typical, Silicon Valley AI giants.
Right.
In this deep dive, let's try to figure out just what is it that makes DeepSeek so unique
Okay.
and what their success might mean for the future of AI, all over the world.
So, to kick things off,
Yeah.
DeepSeek's story is a real head scratcher, at least at first.
Yeah.
You see, they didn't come out of Silicon Valley like you might expect.
Right.
Instead, they started as, get this, a research branch of a super successful Chinese
Oh, wow.
quantitative hedge fund.
What?
It was called High Flyer.
Okay.
Imagine a company like Jane Street, those Wall Street guys,
Sure.
suddenly going all in on AI.
Oh.
That's basically DeepSeek's origin story.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about a company coming from finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
With this founder, Liang Wenfeng,
Right.
who just decides to pour all this money into building
Yeah.
cutting-edge AI models.
Mm.
Was this just about profits?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, from what we've been able to find out about him,
Yeah.
Liang Wenfeng seems to be driven by this, deep scientific curiosity.
Interesting.
He wants to see what AI can really do to push those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't about some product to sell. It was
Right.
it was about exploring,
Yeah.
I think that's one big thing that sets DeepSeek apart.
So it's more like a research lab
Yeah, a bit like that.
than a typical tech startup.
Definitely.
I can see how that, a scientific mindset,
Yeah.
could lead to different innovations.
Mm-hmm.
But how does that, actually work out
Right.
in a field as cutthroat as AI?
Well, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
See, DeepSeek's rise happened at the same time the U.S. government was trying to limit how fast Chinese AI companies could grow.
Right.
They did this by, controlling exports of advanced chips.
Oh, right, those export controls.
Exactly. They wanted to create a bottleneck.
Makes sense.
But DeepSeek, they took this as a challenge.
So, they found a way around the controls.
Not really. They kind of went in a completely different direction.
Mhm.
Instead of fighting for hardware,
Yeah.
they focused on making their software
Okay.
super innovative and efficient.
Interesting.
They became masters at squeezing every bit of performance out of
Yeah.
whatever resources they could get.
So it's like that saying, work smarter, not harder.
Totally. Can you give me some specifics, though?
Sure.
What exactly did they do that was so different?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
They got incredibly good at optimizing their resources.
Okay.
They developed all these
Yeah.
special techniques
Mm-hmm.
to make communication between ships super smooth,
Mm.
minimizing those data bottlenecks.
Yeah.
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 Plus, they found ways to make their models
Right.
use less memory,
I see.
which meant they could run complex calculations,
Yeah.
even on less powerful hardware.
Pretty ingenious.
Their engineering is really impressive.
Yeah, it's not just about having the fanciest chips anymore.
Right. It's about knowing how to use
Exactly.
what you've got
To the fullest.
effectively.
And look at the results.
Yeah.
DeepSeek's latest model, I think it's called DeepSeek R1,
Right.
it needed way less computing power to train
Oh,
than
yeah.
similar models, even from Meta.
Wow.
And get this, it still performs just as well.
Hmm.
Maybe even better on some tests.
So they're not just making do, they're
Yeah.
outperforming with less.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
What else is behind their success, though?
Well, another big part of DeepSeek's strategy
Yeah.
is how they embraced open source development.
Right.
They really encourage collaboration, invite others to build on what they've done.
Mm.
It's a total 180 from how some of their competitors operate.
Right. Much more secretive.
Yeah, but I can see why researchers and developers would love that.
Sure, but isn't that risky for DeepSeek?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, aren't they basically giving away their secrets?
It's a calculated risk, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
But think about it.
Okay.
They're tapping into a massive network of talent and expertise.
Right.
It's like crowdsourcing innovation on a global scale.
So they're using open source to speed up
Exactly.
their development, stay ahead of the curve.
That's
Smart, but it's not just tech, right? What about the people at DeepSeek?
Their approach to building a team
Yeah.
is just as unusual as their tech.
Nope.
Instead of going after like those seasoned veterans from the big tech companies, they focused on recruiting straight from universities.
They're like new grads.
Yeah, talented PhD grads from China's top schools.
Interesting. So they're valuing
Potential
over experience. Why that strategy?
Well, from what we've gathered, Liang Wenfeng believes that younger researchers, they're just more driven by curiosity. A real desire to contribute something new.
Makes sense.
They're not so focused on the money.
Right.
More willing to take on those tough, high investment projects.
Yeah, the ones with maybe not a lot of profit right away.
Right.
That's a fascinating perspective.
Yeah.
It's about fostering that exploration, that innovation.
Right.
So what's the culture like there?
Yeah.
Is it that super competitive environment?
It doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
From what we've heard, DeepSeek is much more collaborative. Lots of open communication, knowledge sharing, you know, a shared sense of purpose.
Okay.
It's more like a research lab than a cutthroat corporation.
Interesting. So they've created a space where these brilliant young minds can really thrive.
Exactly.
Learn and grow and push those boundaries without all the pressure that you get at, like Google or something.
Right. Exactly.
That's got to be a big part of their success.
Yeah, I think so.
Attracting that top talent.
Yeah, and keeping them engaged.
So we've got this like really unique mix.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
It is. Unconventional beginnings, resourcefulness with those export controls, open source collaboration, and a real focus on young talent.
Yeah.
This is a recipe that's clearly working for them.
Definitely working. And their story, it's got a lot to teach us.
I think so, too.
About how AI is developing.
Yeah, the whole landscape is changing.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll get into what DeepSeek's approach could mean for the future of AI.
Sounds good.
And why everyone should be paying attention to them.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
DeepSeek's story is like a real wake-up call, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely challenges a lot of assumptions.
Right. Like what it takes to make it in AI. They've proven you don't always need the biggest budget or the most powerful computers to make those breakthroughs.
Almost like they're rewriting the playbook.
Totally. Instead of just brute force computing power, they're winning with ingenuity, resourcefulness.
Yeah, and collaboration, which is cool.
And I think that has like huge implications for the future of AI.
So what you're saying is their approach, it could level the playing field.
Exactly.
Open up AI to like a wider range of players.
Right. Think about it.
Right.
If you don't need those massive data centers and supercomputers, then smaller companies, research groups, even individuals, they can all contribute.
That's pretty exciting, actually.
Right. It could lead to this much more diverse, dynamic AI ecosystem.
With innovation coming from everywhere.
Exactly. And that diversity could even speed things up.
How so?
Well, with all these different approaches, ideas getting shared and refined through collaboration.
Makes sense.
But, you know, it's not all perfect. Got to be realistic.
Right. There are downsides, too.
Yeah, like if AI becomes more accessible, how do we make sure it's used ethically?
That's a big one. How to prevent misuse.
Right. As AI gets more powerful, more widespread, we really need to think about those ethical frameworks, guidelines, regulations, all that.
To keep things in check.
To ensure responsible development, absolutely.
And DeepSeek's success.
Yeah.
It kind of throws a wrench.
It does.
Into the whole U.S.-China tech rivalry.
Absolutely. Remember those export controls we talked about?
Yeah, on the chips.
They were supposed to slow China down.
Right.
But DeepSeek, they've shown that those measures might not be so effective.
So it's like a case study in how innovation can find a way.
It always does, even with obstacles.
It kind of highlights the need for like a more collaborative approach globally.
Definitely. Trying to hold back one part of the world might just make things speed up somewhere else.
It could even backfire.
Exactly. Unintended consequences and all that.
DeepSeek's focus on young talent.
Yeah.
That seems really relevant here, too.
It is. It's a brilliant move, honestly.
In what way?
Well, they're tapping into that energy, the enthusiasm of young researchers. They're basically cultivating a whole generation of AI experts who are like super skilled and totally invested in China's tech advancement.
It's like they're building their own talent pipeline?
Yeah, one that doesn't rely so much on expertise from elsewhere.
So it's not just about technical skills then?
No, it's also about those fresh perspectives.
Right.
They're willing to like challenge the status quo.
Yeah. take risks.
Exactly. Try things others might think are too crazy.
So it's that combination of technical skill and that culture of innovation.
Yeah, that's giving DeepSeek the edge.
Yeah.
It's a model that I think other countries, other companies, they should be looking at.
Yeah, investing in education,
Right.
fostering collaboration, creating spaces where young talent can thrive.
Those are the keys.
To unlocking AI's potential.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
DeepSeek is definitely a company to watch.
Oh, for sure.
They're not just building cool AI, they're changing the game.
In their store, it's far from over.
Right, in the next part.
Yeah.
We'll dive into some of their specific innovations.
Yeah, the technical stuff.
And what they could mean for the future.
Should be interesting.
Okay, so we've talked about their unconventional approach, how resourceful they are, and how they're attracting all this top talent. But what I really want to get into are those technical innovations. They're not just like making things more efficient. They're rethinking the whole game.
You got it. DeepSeek's not just tweaking the old methods. They're pushing boundaries. They're coming up with new techniques that have everyone in the AI world talking. One of the big ones is multi-head latent attention, or MLA for short.
Okay, I've heard that term attention a lot in AI. What makes MLA different?
Well, think about how we process information, right? We don't pay attention to everything equally.
Right, we focus on what's important.
Exactly. And MLA allows AI models to do the same thing. It helps them prioritize, focus on the key parts of the data, leading to faster processing, better results.
So it's like giving the AI laser focus. It cuts through the noise and gets to what matters.
That's it. And that's huge for reducing the computing power needed to train these massive models. It's all about efficiency, right?
Right. DeepSeek's all about that. But what about that mixture of experts thing, MOE? That sounds pretty complicated.
It is complex, but think of it this way. If you've got a serious medical problem, you don't just go to any doctor.
You want a specialist.
Right, an expert in that specific area.
So how does that apply to AI?
Well, MOE is all about dividing a large AI model into these smaller, specialized expert modules. Each one is responsible for a particular task or area of knowledge.
I see. So instead of one huge model doing everything,
you got a team of specialists working together.
And that makes it more efficient.
Way more efficient. DeepSeek can train these smaller modules with way less computing power overall.
That's really smart. And it works.
It definitely works. According to some independent analysis by Epoch AI, DeepSeek's newest model needed just 1/10 the computing power compared to Meta's Llama 3.1, and that's for a similar model.
That's incredible. It really shows how ingenious their approach is. They're not just throwing more hardware at the problem, they're rethinking it from the ground up. What does this mean, though, for DeepSeek and for AI in general?
It's early, but I think DeepSeek could be starting a whole new way of thinking about AI. We might see a shift away from bigger is better and move towards this more refined approach, one that values efficiency, collaboration, and open innovation.
So DeepSeek isn't just building better AI, they're changing how the game is played.
That's a great way to put it. Their story shows that even in a field as complex as AI, there's always room for new ideas, fresh perspectives.
So what you're saying is DeepSeek's success is kind of an invitation to reimagine what's possible in AI.
Exactly. It's a call to think outside the box, to work together, and to never underestimate a good idea, no matter where it comes from.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of DeepSeek. We've covered a lot, from their unusual beginnings, their groundbreaking tech, and what it all means for the future of AI.
It's been a wild ride, and I have a feeling DeepSeek's story is just getting started. They're definitely a company to watch, and their impact on AI is going to be huge.
So to everyone listening, keep an eye on DeepSeek. Keep an eye on how AI is evolving. Who knows what amazing developments are just around the corner. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking the big questions.